Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to today's discussion session of Talking Films Online. TFO was founded in June 2020 during the lockdown by Professor Nikhila and Dr. Geeta Vishwanath almost on a whim. It has grown from a spontaneous idea into a vibrant community of film enthusiasts, including scholars, researchers, students, teachers, and passionate lovers of cinema. Every Saturday at 9 p.m. on Zoom, we come together to discuss films from across the world. The format is quite simple yet effective. Someone from our group selects a film, we all watch it in our own time, and then meet to discuss. Over the years, we have also been joined by notable filmmakers, editors, and cinematographers, including Aparna Sen, Amol Palekar, Girish Kasharvalli, and Adur Gopalakrishnan. TFO's cinematic journey has witnessed films through various lenses. It includes hosting themed festivals on East European, Iranian, and women's cinema, among others. Every June, we host a smartphone short filmmaking contest for students and organize a lecture series in university departments to mark TFO's anniversary. Last September, we organized our first offline event, an international seminar on Indian film in the digital era, held in collaboration with FCT Baroda. Tonight, we will discuss the film Neeru Thandavaru as the opening film of our ongoing event of Kalyana Karnataka, a festival of films based on Amaresh Nugadoni's short stories. Unfortunately, we do not have the author amongst us tonight, but he promised to join us in the coming sessions.
He has come, Shivali. He has joined us.
Oh, gladly we have the writer then. Thank you so much, sir. Amaresh Nugadoni is a renowned Kannada writer, professor, and literary critic born in 1960 in Raichur district of Karnataka. He is known for his thought-provoking short stories that often explore the lives of rural communities and the struggle of the marginalized, influenced by the social realities of his native region. Some of his notable works include his short story collections, Tamandada Kedu, which contains the short story on which Neeru Thandavaru is based, and Savari, which was adapted into the award-winning film Kanasemba Kudriyanedi by Girish Kasharvalli. His novels are also very popular amongst the readers. He has received numerous awards, including the Rajyosabha Award, the Kumbh Veerabhadrappa Award for Short Stories, and the Chaturanga Literary Award. He has also served as a professor at the Kannada University in Hampi and has guided several PhD students in their research. We have the director of the film, Asif Kshatriya, with us, who is a well-known figure in the theatre and cinema with over 40 years of experience. He is a recognized writer, actor, and director and is credited with pioneering the short film culture in South India. His academic background is extensive, including an MSc in Applied Electronics, an MTech from IIT, an LLB, an MBA, and various diplomas and certificates. He has worked with many artistic legends, including B.V. Karan, Girish Karnad, and Shankar Nath. His work spans plays, short films, documentaries for National Geographic and the BBC, and corporate films, earning him several state and national awards. He is the founder and director of Rangaratha Bharatiya Pradarshana Kala Samsthe, where he writes and directs plays and teaches theatre to the next generation. The producer of the film, Nidasale M. Puttaswamaiah, is also present today. He is a familiar name in the field of art and literature as writer, actor, and producer. He has written stage plays, novels, short stories, and an autobiography. He has directed over 40 documentary films for the Department of Agriculture and Bangalore Doordarshan. He has acted in TV serials and films. As a producer, Neeru Thandavaru is his third venture and is critically acclaimed at international film festivals while winning the state award for Best Story. On Talking Films Online's behalf, we heartily welcome all of you and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules. Tonight, discussion shall be initiated by Rishikesh Bahadur Desai, the senior assistant editor at the Hindu, Velagavi, Karnataka. He is a Karnataka Media Academy award-winning senior journalist. He has covered events reflecting India's syncretic culture, multicultural festivals, and issues promoting communal and linguistic harmony. His areas of interest include agriculture, development, social issues, cooperation, federalism, and use of plain language. He has a postgraduate degree in English literature and an LLB and is proficient in English, Kannada, and Urdu or Dakhini with translation and editing experience. We look forward to a very thought-provoking session tonight with so many notable figures with us. So let us continue with our discussion, starting with our late discussion. Rishikesh sir, you can take over.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I hope I am audible to all of you.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Neeru Thandavaru, or Those Who Brought Water in English, is a short story that inspired a movie, which does not deviate much. In fact, does not deviate at all from the main theme, and then goes on to tell us about a story from what was earlier called Hyderabad, Karnataka, now called Kalyana Karnataka, which is in northeast Karnataka, northeast part of the Karnataka, which was earlier, just before 1952, ruled by the Nizam of Hyderabad, 1948, and then, yeah, it was liberated in 1948. So the area, the region has a distinct culture, accentuated language, agroclimatic zone, and a very rich heritage which has not been studied as well as other parts of North Karnataka. So to a ordinary, common Bangalorean or Mysorean, this region remains unknown, in fact, alien in many aspects. And unfortunately, it has also led to a lot of prejudices, which, as Bertrand Russell said, are so deep rooted that people mistake them for common sense. So I I have worked in Bidar, one of the Hyderabad Karnataka districts, for nearly 15 years. I hail from Dharwad, which is Bombay, Karnataka, now called Kittur, Karnataka, which is middle Karnataka. So I have great affection and an attempt at understanding the region. So the film, which is based on the story, I think the apparent theme in the movie and in the story is the triumph of humanity over our prejudices and the failings of humans. This, while I was reading this, in fact, I had not read the short story when I watched the movie, so I requested somebody to send it to me, and then I read the story. And it's written in the local dialect. It opens up several doors in our hearts and minds, and it reminded me of a story by veteran storyteller in Kannada, K. Sadashiva. He wrote a story called Nalliyalli Neeru Bantu. There is water in the tap. That story is about two neighbors, two women, one of them who is pregnant and the other one who does not like her especially. But when she starts feeling pains and and she's about to give birth to a baby, or even before that, the other woman, her maternal instincts are awakened, and she comes to help her. And in a piece of beautiful imagery, the only lone tap in the chawl that starts getting water. I was also reminded of a Marathi play, Ghot Varpani, by Premanand Ghazvi, senior Dalit writer. It's one of the most successful plays in Marathi. Nearly 1,500 shows of the play have been performed not only in Maharashtra but across India. the the play is about the eternal suffering of the untouchable castes who are suffering from great scarcity of water. But then the latent theme of Neeru Thandavaru is not just the silent suffering of the untouchabilities, but their magnanimity. It also shows the magnanimous nature of the Dalits and other deprived castes. I also saw some themes like sorority or sisterhood and the lazing of the men folk, village level politics, and the failure and ineptitude of decentralized village level politics. I must be forgiven if I have read too much into the theme, or it may be just a simple story that had inspired the writer to write it, looking at all the happenings around him. As a student of English literature, I may be prejudiced in favor of the story rather than celluloid. But then the joke among us literature students is that please read the book before a filmmaker takes it to the butchers. The butcher here is not just a filmmaker, but also the censors, I feel. But then the most important theme of Neeru Thandavaru is the magnanimous attitude and act of the deprived communities and the exploited over those who have been exploiting them in the past, and they may continue to do so in future. There is a very famous quote from the French Revolution. It is usually attributed to Rousseau, but there is no consensus about it. It was written by Pierre Gaspard Chomet, who said that when the people shall have nothing more to eat, they will eat the rich. That has been changed, and when the poor will run out of resources, they will eat the rich, etc. But here, this is a film and a story where the poor do not eat the rich. It also shows, I was feeling in a very, what should I say, philosophical manner day before yesterday, that the theme, the story shows us not only why the poor do not eat the rich, but also why attempts by several people to start revolutions don't succeed all the time. You may call it fatalism, you may call it the weakness of the exploited, or you may call it there is nobody to back them, but then it may also be the change of heart of the exploited who said that let us be forgiving. So the film takes this road less traveled, and that of course has made all the difference. Neeru Thandavaru reminds me, interestingly, of Bhasa Bharata, the several plays written by Bhasa about the Mahabharata. In fact, in one of the plays, there is no Kurukshetra war at all. The warring brothers, Kauravas and Pandavas, they settle their differences through dialogue. So I was just looking at your earlier videos because I did not have an idea as to how you went about it. But then I thought I'll just share the brief of the story. The population is divided into Uru and Keri. Uru is where the upper castes live, and Keri is where the untouchables or Dalits they live. The Dalits do not have their own source of water. They are forcefully denied to take water from the upper caste settlement. The authorities, they have failed to fit a hand pump to the existing borewell. Incidentally, the lone well in the Uru that dries up once the hand pump starts working, because the authorities finally put it up. Some think that the aquifer, underground water, has moved from the well to the borewell. The upper caste people do not want to go to Keri to get water. In the meanwhile, the lone river, which is at a distance from the village, has dried up. There is no water. From the river, both the caste groups were taking water earlier. The women of the Dalit Keri take the lead, and they not only agree to share the water with the upper caste, but also carry it to their area, and they meet somewhere in between, and then they share water. In the meantime, the young, hot-blooded people from the Dalit Keri try to disrupt the tanker supply, which was meant for the upper caste settlement. Here, the characters are the main female lead is the aptly named Ganga. She's enlightened. She is not bound by caste hierarchy. She has feelings of sisterhood for the upper caste women also. Her mother is Hampaka. There's a boy who has feelings for Ganga. His name is Chandru. He's hot-blooded, young, energetic. He fights with the not only with the authorities, but also with the casteist men folk in the village, and wants to bring about some kind of a revolution. Ganga does not agree with him when Chandru tries to disrupt the water supply to the upper caste area. There are some sympathetic people like Siddhapanna, a Marxist leader, and Mr. Patel, an upper caste leader, who offers to provide water from the well to the Dalit. He has tea with the boys of the Keri like Chandru. The film begins with the story of Bhagiratha, the quote or the story of Bhagiratha, who forces river Ganga to leave heaven and flow to the earth. But the river flows in full force. It tends to destroy life. Then Lord Shiva constrains her in his hair and releases her in smaller streams. This is seen as a lesson in wiser utilization of water. Water scarcity is so severe that there is a board in the village hotel which says 1 glass of water is free if you buy 1 cup of tea. The river that is used, as I said, has dried up. A well is the lone source of water. It has limited water source. The village priest, who is childless, he believes in miracles. He makes his wife bathe him in front of the well by pouring several pots of water on his head. He believes it will make them get children. His wife believes it is a sacred place that will never run out of water. When the Dalits enter the village to get water from the well, the upper caste fellows not only oppose them, and there is a fight and some get beaten up. When the village well dries up, the egos of the casteist upper caste residents makes them not to go to the Keri to fetch water. Here comes the gender angle. The Dalit women feel a sense of sorority or sisterhood with the upper caste women, as it is the women who are forced to fetch water, whether it is upper caste women or lower caste women. It is the women who bring water to their houses, and while the men are lazing away. The film ends with a happy and optimistic note. If I feel that if wishes for horses, everyone would ride one. The reality, sadly, is very different. Atrocities on Dalits continue, whether it is for water or for other things. I felt that the writer has introduced this theme of failure of decentralization. Decentralization is a topic dear to my heart, and I can go on and go on, but I will try to put it very briefly. For example, Karnataka has nearly 300 IAS officers and 300 IPS officers, and nearly an equal number of forest officers. IAS IPS officers, only 50 or 60 are in the districts, the rest are in Bangalore. Our governance is divided into 4 levels, or at least 3 levels, because urban and rural, let us imagine they are 1 level. However, any Zilla Panchayat, which is the district body, if it needs to spend more than 99 lakhs, it has to seek permission from Bangalore. Some undersecretary in Bangalore will sign their letter. Village panchayats in Karnataka, they are a group of say around 3 to 4 villages. In Maharashtra, each village is a panchayat. In Kerala, a cluster of villages. Around 30,000 population is one village panchayat. Kerala panchayats have officers like assistant executive engineer, AEE, and a gazetted officer who is above the level of who is now called Panchayat Development Officer in Karnataka. This is the background just to tell why didn't the village panchayats of this village take a scientific and technical solution to the village and ensure that there was peace both in the upper caste area and in the lower caste area. That is because our decentralized governments are very inept and inefficient. That is my experience. But then why do I appreciate the film? Mr. Asif Kshatriya, a well-known name in theatre, has made this movie with great sincerity and commitment. I congratulate him for choosing the movie story, choosing to make a movie based on a short story by a writer who has his ear to the ground. It can easily be said to be inspired by real life events, though he does not say it openly. As millions of such cases exist. I have seen several such cases. I have seen people being killed for a pot of water. Very interestingly, it is not a mainstream formula film. It's not there are no stars, no hero, heroine, villain plotting. The song and dance, the song and fight, in fact, add to the story. They are not an addition. The director needs to be congratulated for shooting the movie on real locations. It brings out the ethereal charm and true colors of Hyderabad, Karnataka, the region. However, I have some few issues with the film. My biggest issue is of accent. As everybody knows, the Kannada spoken in Hyderabad, Karnataka is now known as Kalyana Karnataka is very different from the what is called the old Mysore Kannada or the Bangalore Kannada. It is not just the tone, but vocabulary and contextualization. There is a belief that this is just the difference in accentuation is not just for regions or districts or even taluks, but even Hoblis, which is a group of villages, and even villages have different accents. And as you all very well know, Kannada spoken by various caste groups is also very highly accentuated. In fact, in some areas in Karnataka, like Uttar Kannada district or Dakshina Kannada district, people guess your caste by the way you speak your Kannada. A local story told in a non-local accent does not connect with you. It does not connect with the native speaker and the alien. I feel that filmmakers who do not speak the accent should do some homework before taking up the project. I'm sure they have done. I was expecting a bit more. They should hire, ideally, typically, locals or train the actors in the accent. This may take some time and add to the cost, but it is worth it. I saw an interview where Irfan Khan was being interviewed for that movie Inferno. He said that the film crew included language and accent coaches not only for him, but also for some American actors. He was surprised and asked them, why do you need a language or accent coach? They said that, you see, in America, there are 51 states and every state and every region speaks a different accent of English. So when the characters in the movie speak different accents, even among American accent, we get accent coaches. It only shows how seriously they take filmmaking. Second point is the setting seems monotonous. Since the story spread over a long period, the film could have been shot in different seasons. And contrary to popular opinion, local vegetation changes in these regions based on seasonal changes, rainfall and wind patterns. The actions of some actors, at least, feel plastic. It seems as if they are they are waiting for a cue from the director to get into the scene. A few more rehearsals could have changed it. I think this is a problem with theatre actors working in a theatre settings. Some films suffer from this advantage while some films have grown out of it. I have seen both kinds of movies. The final issue I have with is the story itself. It is not just about the movie, it's about the story also. After working for so many years as a journalist, I think that the reason behind the apparent peace in countryside is the forced subservience of the Dalits and not a change of heart either among the exploited or the purposeful generosity among the exploited as depicted here. However, the writer is filled with optimism and hope and is trying to dream of a day of non-violent solutions to long-standing problems. The film ends with the rebellious girl giving water to the most casteist woman who had opposed the whole Kerry, who had stopped them from taking water and provoked violence. But then there is a change of heart, I believe, in both the exploited and the exploiter. And well, there is nothing wrong with optimism. I think that's all I wanted to say. If you want to raise some questions or take a discussion, we'll take up later.
Thank you so much, sir. I think now we can continue with the discussion. We have the author, we have the director and the producer. Sir, do any of you want to say something? Asif sir or Nidasale sir, Amaresh sir? Yeah, Asif sir, please unmute yourself and say. So you are on mute. You have to unmute yourself.
Thank you very much, Rishikesh sir. with good analysis, rather synthesis also. Okay. And I'll start somewhere in between a little bit. You said about the accent, about the diction, language, whatever it is. Okay. So as far as in my case, in other projects also, whenever I come across the different kinds of diction or language to deal with, I do specially a specialized homework. And sometimes if it is possible for me, I take few major actors to the region and put them for 3-4 days workshop with the local people who speak their own dialect. And I record them and come them and make them practice that kind of thing. I do that normally. In spite of that, sometimes certain failures are there, of course. And here in this case, Neeru Thandavaru, fortunately, I am also from Raichur. I speak the dialect. That's why I could write those things, those dialogues and all. And even author and myself, Amaresh Nugadoni and myself, we are contemporaries in the same town. I was a student at that time. He was also a student, and he was on his writing spree, and I was into theatre, acting and direction spree. And most of the characters, what you see in Neeru Thandavaru, I have seen them closely. And this story, I read it decades ago, I mean, a couple of decades ago. When I read it for the first time, at that time, I thought of making this into a visual spectacle to reach larger audience. So, I mean, the time came after 20 years of reading, 20 years after I read for the first time. And one thing, this is the background I wanted to share. And another thing is, as you mentioned, the northern Karnataka or the history of northern Karnataka is hardly read properly or in a wider perspective among other regions of Karnataka, or for that matter, larger India. And one, you said, I just forgot that point. I wanted to note it down. Anyway, sometimes some people have mentioned about the way it is designed, the whole. First of all, with respect to the story and the filmmaking, of course, clearly these two are different, very different medias, as you can understand very well. Story takes the, I mean, any literary work, be it a novel or a short story, it takes the content to the readers, to their mind. It goes to their mind, and films goes to their heart. This is slightly two different ways. Okay. They explain the story. They explain the situations in writing. And film media will evoke certain emotions into it and try to look deeper inside into the human side. They filmmaking, or we filmmakers, try to understand and in a different perspective of the character. That's why we take little liberty to add or to subtract certain characters, or to combine certain characters and create a meaning which has to be supposed to be created. Okay. So actually the story, you said you have read the story. Yes. So in that there is an old lady called Sunkava, correct? Okay. There is Sunkava. One more Hampakka is there. So I combined these two. The wisdom of Sunkava. Sunkava is an old age lady, Ajji. It's a grandmother's character. So I thought of combining these two, the emotions, the wisdom of these two, and created the character of Hampakka, two in one. Okay. And regarding, and one more thing, I started the story with the Puranic story that is about Bhagirath. In the beginning, I narrated. So my main foray was in this story. I wanted to tell not only the situations. There are two major situations in the story, Neeru Thandavaru. One is the political situation. Both are majorly political situation in the story, in a written format. One more major issue is there in that story about one bus stand, the construction of the bus stand near the temple, Basavanna temple. So even some 30% of the story takes care of that. The social unrest is towards that. So it's caste ridden thoughts and what do you say? The intolerance between two castes, majorly two classes here, upper caste and lower caste. So I did touch that because it was an option for me to either concentrate on that situation or issue in the story or the water issue. So water was more relevant to me. Even the existing political scenario, if we look at it, see, we had Kargil war, we have India and Pakistan. At the outset, as my study goes and analysis goes and research goes, India, Pakistan, if you say, general, the mass, what they say, it's about Hindu and Muslim. It's very surface level and superficial. We have been misguided and mistaught and whatever, the chain is there. But in fact, if you go deeper into international politics, it is about the glaciers in the POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir, which America wants maybe from the underground tunneling. It is about the war again. Okay. So this you can get all in research papers in international political magazines and all. So America puts the gun on the shoulders of the Pakistan towards India and keeps the hold on those glaciers. Even this Kargil, it's about glaciers. Why China wants Arunachal Pradesh again? It's about glaciers. And at the outside, if you go deeper and deeper, the whole world, maybe they say the Third World War, if at all it happens, it is for water. So that always triggered me. So where it starts, see, right from, that's why I took the example of Purana, to show the importance of water and the importance of taking care of water and put into the right use. It's my perspective about that Ganga thing. That when Bhagirath, when Ganga comes to the earth, it floods, everything is flooded. And then Shiva takes it and puts Ganga on his head. And the controlled water flows. We can see in the all photographs and calendars, small stream of water. So I perceived this concept in this way and connected to this film and concept, the concept of the film. That is, if water is controlled, used in a very controlled way, we can flourish on earth. So that was the initial message to say the importance of the water. There it started. Then I could, I tried somewhere to, in couple of dialogues, I have said this also. The whole politics is about water crisis and the dominance over water. Take anywhere in the whole world. So I started from that point, and I came to the village level. I thought, let's start from the village level. There also, the politics of water is there, through water, because water is the essence of life. The target of this politics or socio-political conditions is towards the essence of life. So I used water as a metaphor there. If water is stopped, whole clan we can erase. Whole life system can be erased if water is stopped. So there I concentrated and decided to take the water thing from the novel, from that short story. So in the story, actually, existing borewell will be there, and here also borewell is there. That kind of thing there. So I created a different kind of a story based on the same theme, same elements. I didn't change anything there. I avoided certain things and I concentrated and mixed up certain things to evoke proper emotions according to me, which can explain the story in a very clear way, in utmost clarity. That was my effort. Sometimes when even for the costumes and all, take for example costume designing, someone had asked me once why the slum women, I mean the Keri women, wearing all jewelry kind of thing, I mean well dressed and all those stuff. You might have observed in the movie those characters, most of the women, especially Hampakka also, they're wearing all this ole, bugudi, gubbi, and whatever you say in Kannada, all these piercings will be there. And this is when I read about, I have certain books over the empires of the cultural perspectives of different empires in our country. When we come to Krishnadevaraya, the region, the Raichur was ruled, that region was ruled by Krishnadevaraya. And we all know that gold, diamond, silver, and whatnot, people used to sell all these things on the streets. So down the ages, down the generation, the love for jewelry remains till today with them. And I have interviewed them, all those slum women I have interviewed. I have traveled across the region. I chose not Raichur but Gangavati for uh, the specific. I wanted to depict these things through all the mountainous terrain. So water scarcity and the stream what you see was Tungabhadra. I waited and that was the peak summertime we shot. Okay, that was very difficult to shoot in those areas. As you know, you are also from Dharwad and you know the North Karnataka region. You have traveled. You said you were in Bidar for some time also. Bidar was comparatively green, is comparatively green, but this Raichur and Ballari, for that matter, are very difficult terrains to live, even today also. So I waited for the summer, and that time the whole Tungabhadra river was dried. So I went to the location with much geographical difficulties. We shot there, and that thing I wanted to depict, like I mean, how difficult it was for them to fetch water from the long distance, and that dirty water, those scenes you have seen there. And suddenly I wanted to tell this. Okay, fine. So one thing, environment, when it comes to the well in the upper caste locality. So here, this is not only about water, not only about economics, that is class difference, not only about, it is about the blind beliefs of the people. I wanted to touch that also because everything is intermingled. Everything is intermingled. That is actually, in fact, that is created, that vrata, what you saw on the screen, where that Archaka bathes and wastes lot of water in the belief that they get the children if they please the god in that way. That's a ritual, and most of the rituals you have seen, everyone has seen. There's most of the rituals are, they make hardly sense. Exceptions are there, of course. Okay, we need not go into that. There are most of the rituals, they don't make sense. So I chose this and I made this, I created this ritual. I never read this ritual anywhere actually. For the film, I created that ritual that, chalo, I mean, 1 week and every day, 21, what do you call, buckets of water on the head. And at the end of the ritual, God will be pleased and they will beget a child. Okay. And it matches with so many blind beliefs. I was assured, I was sure about that. And that I created there. That was not in the, of course, story, written in the story, but the element was there in the story. And Siddhappa, what you see there, Siddhapanna, that Marxist, and he is the reflection of the real person who lived in Raichur. Okay, I have seen him, and even author Amaresh also has seen him, and I depicted that person through this Siddhappa's character. He was a Marxist, and he was very active in that person's name was Purushottam. If Amaresh sir is here, he will understand this. He will know this. His name was Purushottam. The Purushottam is another character in the story of Mr. Amaresh, which is not much elaborated. It comes in the group and goes. So I picked that name. He was a real person and put that character into Siddhapa's character. That's how the film was crafted. Very closely crafted. And this blind beliefs, again, environmental awareness and socio-political conditions, and comes to Dalit and all. In fact, producer sir is here. Sir, namaste. So when we were there for the censor, in front of censor board, so censor was objected for, there is a couple of dialogues in that movie. So when the chieftain of the town goes to the MLA for asking a borewell to be installed, and when he comes out, sits in the car with his son in the white ambassador car, he says, that son says, let's put fire, let's evacuate the slum, hold the Keri. ಆ ಕೇರಿನ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬಿಡೋಣ, ಹೊರಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡೋಣ, something like that he says. Then that chieftain says, no, it cannot happen because that's the vote bank of that MLA. Till this downtrodden people, these poor people, and these Dalits, so-called Dalits, are there, these political people will thrive. These politicians will thrive. They are happy. So that sentence was an objectionable sentence from the censor board. I was not ready to take it out. I said, nothing is there. In so many films, so much violence is there. The censor board approves it. But why this? There are when it is true. I didn't take anybody's name in that film. Then they didn't budge. They said, no, we will not give U certificate. We give UA certificate. Producer sir was a little skeptical about that. Okay. So then we both decided like, okay, UA certificate, fine. If A is there, people get more curious. Fine. That's a positive this thing for us. These things happen. And how these things are received by the people, and including the censor board. And it's a history now. So that thing also I wanted to bring it, because that was there in the story, here and there, most of the times that comes. And basically the struggle for water, the rebellion for water in the story is intact in the film in a different perspective. And the climax also, the intact, even in the story, the Keri people will take the water to the upper caste colony. It is retained and everything. That's the crux of the film. And before I started writing the film, one first question came to my mind. I mean, normally I do that. From which character's perspective I should look the film? I should see the film. It's not my view. It's not filmmaker's view. Normally I follow that procedure. So as a filmmaker, I should not see the film from my perspective. First, I will list out the characters, read the characters, and study the characters. And what I want to do, I want to tell the people, that is my foray. And from whose perspective the film should run. So I chose Hampakka. Actually, Hampakka was my protagonist, not the audience protagonist. Audience protagonist may be Ganga, because we are set to that kind of formula, and I mean, whoever finally cuts the ribbon, I mean, that person is the winner, something like that. Fine, that is there. For some people, Ganga is the protagonist, some people, Hampakka is the protagonist, because whatever I wanted to tell through the story about the humanity, first of all, about the compassion, and against the caste system, everything was through Hampakka, because basically in the story itself, Sangava has the more wisdom, because story takes off from the Sangava. She takes that another character, that limping character, not here in my film, some other person will limp. The Hampakka's brother will limp. In the original story, some character limps. That person's name is Hirebuddha. In my character, he is not limping in my film. But Sangava takes the lead to check in the town what's happening that night, that notorious night, that or dangerous night. So I caught hold of the wisdom of Sangava in the story, and from Sangava's point of view, Sangava's in the main story, in the Neeru Thandavaru story, Sangava's grandson Shivraj dies in police attack. Here, Hampakka's brother gets injured and breaks his leg during police confrontation. Because Sangava is not here, Sangava became Hampakka here. So that wisdom I tried to pass on to the audience through the story.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insights. And we also have our producer here. So, Nidasale sir, do you want to say something? Sir, you were on mute.
Sir, mute Tagiri.
You have to unmute the mic.
Sir, mic na tap ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಮೈಕ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಮೈಕ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಟ್ಯಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೌಸ್ ಇಂದ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಟ್ಯಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ ನೋಡಿ.
Krishnapriya, can you unmute him?
ಹಾ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸರ್.
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್.
ಮಾತಾಡಿ.
ನನಗಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಅಮರೇಶ್ ನುಗ್ದೋಣಿ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿ.
ಇದಾರಲ್ಲ ಅವರು?
ಅಮರೇಶ್ ಸರ್ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಯು ಸಿ
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ.
ಓಕೆ, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಇನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ.
ಹಾ, ಮಾತಾಡಿ. ಕನ್ನಡ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಏನಿವೆ.
We can translate, not a problem.
ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ನಮ್ಮ ಆಸಿಫ್ ಕ್ಷತ್ರಿಯ ಅವರು ಬಾರಿ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನನ್ನ ನೀರು ತಂದವರು ಸಿನಿಮಾನ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಟ್ರು, ನಿರ್ದೇಶನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಒಂದ್ 15 to 20 days ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಅಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೊಸಬ್ರೆ ಕಲಾವಿದ್ರು. ಅಚ್ಯುತ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಒಬ್ರು ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಉಳಿದವರೆಲ್ಲ ಹೊಸಬ್ರಿದ್ರು. ಉಳಿದವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ತಯಾರಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಟ್ರು. ಈ ಕತೆ 25 years ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ, ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಅದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಇವಾಗ ನಡೆಯಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲೋ, ಈಗ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಈಗ ಮಾಡರ್ನೈಸ್ ಹೋಗಿದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಕತೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತ ಕತೆ. ಇದು 10th ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಫೆಸ್ಟಿವಲ್ಗಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲಿಫೋರ್ನಿಯಾ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಫೆಸ್ಟಿವಲ್ಗೆ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಆಗಿತ್ತು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ಬಂತದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಅಂತ. ಅಮರೇಶ್ ನುಗದುಣಿ ಅವರ ಕತೆಗೆ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ಬಂತು, ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅವಾರ್ಡ್. ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಬಂತು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಂಥ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಜನ ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೊಳಲ್ಲ. ಜನ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ಥಿಯೇಟರ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದು. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಕತೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನಿರ್ದೇಶನದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಸರಿ. ತೊಡಗಿಸದ ಹಣ ವಾಪಸ್ ಪಡೆಯೋದು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಂತ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ಗೂ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು. ಅದು ನನ್ನ ಅಪೀಲ್. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಆದ್ರೂ ನಾನು ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟದು 3ನೇ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ನಂದು. ಈಗ 5 ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನನ್ನ ಅನುಭವಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಈಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಏನ್ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ. ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಸಿಫ್ ಕ್ಷತ್ರಿಯ ಅವ್ರ ತರದವ್ರನ್ನೇ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು ನಾವು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡದಂತ ಸ್ಟೋರಿಗಳನ್ನೇ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಈ ಸುಮ್ ಅನ್ನೆಸರಿ ಕುಣಿಯೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ತಮಟೆ ಹೊಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ ಅಂತದೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೀತಿ ಬೋಧನೆ, ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಕಳಕಳಿಯನ್ನು ಒಳಗೊಂಡಂತ ಕಥೆಗಳನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಂತ ಸಿನಿಮಾಗಳನ್ನೇ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ನಾವು. ನಮ್ಮ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಫೆಸ್ಟಿವಲ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈಗ ಅಗ್ನಿವರ್ಷ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು 5ನೇ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಅದು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 10-12 ಕಡೆ ಅದು ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಒಂದ್ 3-4 ಕಡೆ ಅದು ಪ್ರೈಸಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಗೆದ್ದಿದೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ವಿದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ. ಅಂತ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಹುಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಕಥೆಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೊಸ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಷತ್ರಿಯ ಆಸಿಫ್ ಕ್ಷತ್ರಿಯ ಅವ್ರು ಸೇರಿ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಆಕ್ಚುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, ಮುಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಅದನ್ನ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ಪೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಸಿನಿಮಾಗಳು ಈಗ ಥಿಯೇಟರ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಓಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಕಿದ ಹಣ ವಾಪಸ್ ತಗೊಳಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ಗಳು. ಈ ಕೆಲವ್ರದಷ್ಟೇ, ನಮ್ಮ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಶೆಟ್ರದ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅದೇನೋ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಂತ ಕಥೆಗಳು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ನಾವು. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಅಪ್ರಿಶಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅವ್ರೆ, ಕಂಗ್ರಾಚುಲೇಟ್ ದೆಮ್. ಯಾಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಏನೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಶೆಟ್ರು ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ರಿಷಬ್ ಶೆಟ್ಟಿ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ರಾಜ್ ಶೆಟ್ಟಿ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಂತಾರ ಶೆಟ್ರು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸಿನಿಮಾ, ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕಥೆಗಳದು. ಆತರ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನೋಡುವಂತ ಕಥೆಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಜನ ಅದನ್ನ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು ಥಿಯೇಟರ್ಗೆ ಜನಗಳು. ಬರೀ ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ರದೇ ಒಂದೊಂದೇ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ನೋಡೋದಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಉತ್ತಮವಾದ್ದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಥ ನೀತಿ ಕಥೆಗಳು ಉಳ್ಳಂತಹ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಕಳಕಳಿಯನ್ನು ಒಳಗೊಂಡಂತಹ ಸಿನಿಮಾಗಳಿಗೆ ಜನ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಥಿಯೇಟರ್ಗೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮಂತ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್ಗೆ, ಇಂಥ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಟೀಮ್ಗೆ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೊಡೋ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಏನೋ ಒಂದ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಬದುಕ್ಸೋ ಕ್ರಿಯೆನ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಕಳ್ಕಳಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹಿಂದೂ ದೇಸಾಯಿ ಸಾಬ್ ಇದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಅವರು ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗಮನ ಸೆಳೀಲಿ. ಈ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಕಳಕಳಿಯನ್ನು ಒಳಗೊಂಡಂತ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಮಾಡೋ ಯಾರೇ ಇರ್ಲಿ ಅಂತವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸರ್ಕಾರ. ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, ಆಗ್ಲೇ 4 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಸರ್ಕಾರಗಳ ಇದು ನಮಗೆ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೂಡ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ಗೂ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ಕಾರದವರು, ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿನೂ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ, ಸಪೋರ್ಟು ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಹೀಗಿದೆ. ಈ ಕಡೆನೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಗಮನ ಸೆಳಿಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಸರ್ಕಾರದ್ದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಜನಗಳದ್ದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರೇಕ್ಷಕರು, ವೀಕ್ಷಕರು, ಇವ್ರದೆಲ್ಲ ಗಮನನು ಕೂಡ ಸೆಳಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಕಳ್ಕಳಿ. ಈ ನೀರು ತಂದವರು ಮಾತ್ರ ನಮಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಹೆಸರು ತಂದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ, ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಮಾಡ್ದೋ ಅನ್ನೋ ಖುಷಿ ಇದೆ. ಕಥೆನೂ ಕೂಡ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಆಸಿಫ್ ಕ್ಷತ್ರಿಯ ಅವರು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ನಿರ್ದೇಶನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಯಾರ ಕೈಲೂ 2ನೇ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಮಾಡಿಸಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಆಸಿಫ್ ಕಡೆನೆ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೀನಿ. ಅದೊಂದು ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಇರೋವಾಗಲೇ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಆಸೆ ಇದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಹಂಪೆ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಚಾರ ಸಂಕಿರಣ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಈ PhD ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಶೋ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಸಿದ್ರು, ನಮಗೆ ಕರೆಸಿ ಆನರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಹೀಗೆ ಹಲವಾರು ಕಡೆ ನಡೆದಿದೆ. ಈ ಸುಚಿತ್ರ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿಯವರು ಕರೆದಿದ್ರು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಫೆಸ್ಟಿವಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2-3 ಶೋ ನಮ್ದು ಪ್ರದರ್ಶನ ಕಾಣ್ತು. ಹೀಗೆ ಮೈಸೂರು ದಸರಾ ಫೆಸ್ಟಿವಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರದರ್ಶನ ಕಾಣ್ತು. ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ತೋರ್ಸೋದೇ ಖುಷಿ. ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ದು ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಬಂದಿದೆ, SGV ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಚಾನಲ್ನವರು ಅದನ್ನ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾನ 1,90,000 ಜನ ನೋಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿದ್ಧಗಂಗಾ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಸಿನಿಮಾ, ಅದನ್ನ 4,80,000 ಜನ ನೋಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜನ ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾವು ದುಡ್ಡು ಬರದೇ ಇರೋ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಜನ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಮಾಡಿದ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮನೇಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೋಬಾರ್ದು, ಅದು ಜನ ತಲುಪಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋವಂಥದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಟೀಮು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕತೆಗೆ ಪೂರಕವಾಗಿ ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಮಾಡಿದವ್ರಿಗೂ ವಾಪಸ್ ಹಣ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯೋ ಲಾಬಿಗಳನ್ನು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲನೂ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಈ ಲಾಬಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂತವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸಿಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಕೆಲವು ಸಲ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿಗಳಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ ಏನೇನು ಸಿಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅದೇನು ಸಿಗೋಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅಂತದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಪೂರಕವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಪತ್ರಿಕಾ ಪ್ರತಿನಿಧಿಗಳು, ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದವರು ಮತ್ತೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಗಮನ ಹರಿಸ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಕಳ್ಕಳಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ನಾನು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಕತೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕತೆಗಾರರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಿರ್ದೇಶನದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕರು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಅವಕಾಶಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಖಿಲಾ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರು ಬಹಳ ದಿನಗಳಿಂದ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿದ್ರು, ನನ್ನನ್ನ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಬಂದು ನಾನು ಮುಖ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಕನ್ನಡ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಭಾವಿಸ್ತೀನಿ, ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ದೇಸಾಯಿ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಬೆಳಗಾಂನವರೇ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಈ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ತುಂಬಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನ ತಿಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for coming here and for also sharing your views. I'm going to just quickly summarize and translate what sir has shared so far. He pointed out how for this film, the director trained the actors who are mostly amateur actors, except Achyut Kumar, who plays one of the key roles over there. So he trained them for 15 to 20 days. He pointed out how this story is a story of 25 years ago. Though one may not find the same situation today, but this story has been very important for him. A major part of his talk today was, about how he feels, how strongly he feels as a producer, that his kind of films don't reach the audience, in the sense people don't come to watch these kind of films to the theaters. Government is not supporting such films through subsidies. But in spite of that, he pointed out how such films based on stories which communicate values and also raise social consciousness to the audience. This is the kind of films that he would like to give as a producer to the audience, and he would welcome any kind of support from the government. And he also pointed out how, this film, he has taken this film to the Kannada audience through Mysore Dasra Film Festival, or in Kannada University Hampi, Suchitra Film Society, and has also now shared the film on YouTube, where nearly 2 lakh people have watched the film. So in that sense, it has been a success, and now it is also being discussed on Talking Films online platform. So thank you very much, sir, for coming and listening to the conversation. All of us who have joined here, now ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋರೆಲ್ಲ more or less cinema ನೋಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ, sir. So we all want to share our views about the film. So let me begin with myself. Shiuli, can I start? Can I?
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. I
Yeah.
just want to take my time to thank Nidasale sir. Thank you so much, sir, for coming here and telling us everything about the film from your perspective. Thank you so much, ma'am. You may continue.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Yeah.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್.
So I actually read half the story and then watched the film and then went back to read the rest of the story. And one striking thing, sir, that I found was this emphasis on gender. So somewhere I felt that in the film, this issue between Uru and Keri, these two sides are very much there, and the people from Uru and Keri are in conflict with each other. That is certainly there. But what gets foregrounded in your film, I felt, which is not so in the short story, is this aspect of gender. That is, it is the women and the solidarity between women that you seem to have, taken as the central aspect to your film. Whereas in the short story, what is palpable is, which makes you really indignant and angry in the short story, is the sheer humiliation and the fear that those in the Keri are forced to live with. So ಒಂಥರ ಕತ್ಲೆ ವಾತಾವರಣ, it begins like that with with the people from the Keri trying to find out what is happening, afraid even with a slight movement, that they may just get beaten up. So the irrationality of the way in which people in the Keri can be treated just because they belong to the Keri. So caste is something so strong in the story, which I felt maybe because it has to reach a larger audience. There are other aspects that you have included, for instance, the folk songs that you have brought in at appropriate points. The costume, which makes it visually very rich. Which really it doesn't seem like it's a backward village that we are looking at, because I think your focus has been something else. That is, you have wanted to, as you rightly said, point out about this question of water, environment, consciousness about usage of water, and so on. Whereas the short story, Neeru Thandavaru, Neeru is a metaphor for the indignities that are faced by the people in the Keri. So I thought that change, I mean, I have no major problem with it, but I was just noticing that that seems to be the direction in which you have developed the short story. So I don't think that the story and the film are very closely, as you yourself said, you have rewritten a story for the context of the film. It makes for engaging viewing, certainly. But if we are looking for the bite of the caste conflict that is so evident in Nugadoni sir's story, that is perhaps a little bit absent here. It becomes more ಓದ್ದವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, educated youth, Dalit youth, somehow they become villains on one hand, and that fellow, I forgot his name, Patil's son, who is irrational and so violent. So these two become villains in the story, and the systemic conflict that Nugadoni story is pointing to is not so foregrounded in your film. This is my own sense of the film, sir. But thank you very much for making available, Puttaswamaiah sir, thank you very much for making available the film to all of us. With the English subtitles. We have all enjoyed watching the film. Thanks to you. And now it's over to you, Shivali.
Thank you.
Welcome and thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just because Nikhila ma'am said, I also wanted to point out something about the folk songs and the usage of folk art in this film. As I am not a native speaker of Kannada language and I don't even understand this language, so I was depending on the subtitles, but I could relate to the film. Okay. Though I am not from this language, but I felt that the usage of the folk songs or the folk art that were included are very much relevant to the storyline, but the subtitles didn't give us the context. So can you please put some light on that part, that so many folk songs were used and what were their context actually?
Okay. That was the question to me, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So basically, every filmmaker sees the story in a different perspective. One thing. And the second very strong thing, we should understand that these two are very different medias. Very different medias. So, film, when I read the story, there are incidences, underquote, only incidences at the outset. So it's the format of writing actually. For that matter, even our producer sir is a writer. He is a very well-known writer, author of so many books. He will also understand this. When it comes to filmmaking, we read in between lines because most of the life happens in between two lines. Emotions evoke, in between two lines. Emotions are not in the lines. It is lines are the text. We say after you speak one line, there is one more line ahead, which is called a subtext, which operates in your mind. So for every text, there is a pretext and a subtext. Okay, that cycle, then the cycle completes. So a filmmaker will read in between lines and try to picturize and bring that thing, that emotion, that concept, that feeling or that sensitivity, the foreground through this media. As Nikhila madam said, it's looks like women centric and it's more women were there. They are more motivated and they are more active or something like that, she said. Okay. Yes, I believe in that. It's not, see, if some male does something, if in society something happens, see, every system, every education starts from the woman again, mother. And in creation, women is powerful. In some Purana, I think it is in Skanda Purana. See, someone asked Shiva, who is Parvati? Shiva says, she is my wife. Then the next question is, who is your mother? The Shiva says, Parvati. Who is your daughter? Shiva says, Parvati. So Mula, it is Shakti. Mula is Shakti. There is no male god actually. God and the God in true sense is Prakriti. It's Shakti. Then follows everything. So I, as a reader, as a person, I strongly believe in this power of this gender. Okay. And naturally, in most of my movies, women are very powerful. Because in life, I believe that. And after all, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a human being, my perspective will be there. And in this story, okay, at the outset, it is the struggle between, if it is a political struggle, if a filmmaker shows as it is the political struggle, okay, we can say the film based on, see, it is based on that story. It is not the story again. Those emotions, those perspectives are created perspectives based on the basic story. Okay. So if, just imagine if I showed that struggle, that fight, writing long dialogues about, tarnishing each other with the caste sentiments or those things, it's no different than any, maybe there are films like that. Its perspective differs. There are filmmakers who do maki thing as it is, but I looked beyond it. There I saw the power of women, power of nurturing, power of Prakriti. Only then they can decide, they can take such a decision that collectively, that I think Ganga says in the last but one scene, that it is the women can destroy or women can take decisions, women can do anything, go away from, give us the way. She tells. The same thought I made her to say. So that's why in the film, women looks more powerful. In the writing, if in the Amaresh Nugadoni sir's writing, it is the situations he has narrated because he has seen the situations. He has seen the socio-political conditions. He has seen the disparity among the two classes. So he has seen it. And he has taken a note of it. He wrote that, see, look, people, in my town, this is happening. He has narrated it. It's the media, the writer's media. He narrated. He will not go in between lines. Whatever the writer sees and writes it. And whatever he perceives, he writes it. It's a writer's duty. Whatever he imagines or sees, he writes it. Filmmaking is a visual medium. That's a different thing. Because what we show that has to be believed at that instant at least. When we read a book, we can think in so many ways. Like, I mean, once you write a book, your duty is over. It's up to the audience how they receive the book, how they understand the story. And writer doesn't have any control over that. Isn't it? Correct, sir?
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
Writer ಬರೀತಾರೆ,
ಹೌದೌದು.
ಅರ್ಪಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ.
ಅವರು ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಷ್ಟೇ. ಅವರು ತೋಚ್ದಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರೆ.
People perceive that writing in different ways. Many people in many different ways. That's a writer's what do you say? Success.
ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅವ್ರ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್.
So anyway, that's a different view. But I answered the Nikhila madam's why women is shown so this thing.
No, I wasn't saying why. Just to clarify, I was looking at the implications. Maybe gender is more widely, or making a film women-centric is more widely acceptable than making it caste-centric. So I was just looking at that. Like many other things that you have incorporated to make the film more widely reachable. This shift too. I mean, as you said, this is something that is required by the medium. So
Yes.
I have no particular quarrel with that.
No, I just explained another perspective. I shared my other perspective.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, everybody has their own opinion. Most welcome. So that's a wonderful thing what you say. That perspective.
ಸರ್, ಲೇಡೀಸ್ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೆಡ್ ಸ್ಟೋರೀಸ್ ನ ಜನ ಲೈಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
ಸರ್, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು. I believe that women are powerful, sir. Basically.
Yes.
I mean, see everything, sir. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ even that upper caste woman, ಅದು ಮಗು ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, that upper caste woman will be doing some vrata to get the child, you know. So look at the transition of that woman. Even she is a woman, but caught under the web of some wrong belief system. And here Hampakka is there, the same contemporary.
Yeah.
She is the most.
Can I leave?
That kind of wisdom.
Sorry, can I leave?
Yes, sir. You rest togoli, sir.
Continue with the discussion.
Thank you. Madam, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you to all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, being here with us.
Thank you. Namaste. Good night.
ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್, ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ.
ಓಕೆ.
ಮೇನ್ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಡಿ ಮನೆದು.
ಅದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ.
ಮಾಡಿ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
Yeah, surely you can invite others to
Continue with it. So anyone else has any other question for our discussant or for the director? Geeta ma'am, Tarkeshwar sir, Yagnashri.
Yeah, can I come in?
I would like to say a few words if I am audible. My name is Vijay from Mysore. I would like to make a few observations. Am I clearly audible? Because
Yes, you
there is
are
no
audible.
network in my computer in my house. Okay. Anyway, I must first of all congratulate the director and the producer for making such a movie at a time when poorly themed, uninteresting movies from the coastal Karnataka are taking away the sheen of various other interesting movies in the present day Kannada film context. So congratulations to both of you. Second point is after listening to what the director has to say about the views about the movie seems to handle many issues in the film, and I wish I had read the original short story so that I could have made a comparison between the film and I could have understood the film in better light when I make comparisons between short story and the film. But the film tries to handle many issues up to a particular point when the water starts disappearing from the well. Until that, the film seems to handle many issues like the incidents, the characters, and the dialogues seem to have been already seen, understood, viewed by me in the past, read somewhere in novels or short stories. But the probably the strength of the film and strength of the story, I think, lies in the fact when this water starts disappearing from the well and the turn of events that take place thereon. That's a very interesting part of the short story, I think, and also the very interesting part of the film. There we see something different from what I have already seen or read. As the director said, I think water is a metaphor which is effectively used in the movie, and I think it stands for many other issues also. For some people, it's a question of survival. It's a metaphor for survival. For some people, it is uh, also a source of revenge, especially for the downtrodden, for the lower caste people who are living in the Kerry. And it's also a source of discrimination. I mean, what part of the upper caste people in Uru. And it's also a source of hatred, source of love and affection also. Love and affection on the part of the women belonging to lower caste community. So there are many issues that can be associated with the metaphor of water here. So I found the second half of the movie, I think, very interesting. Probably it is there in the short story, and it is also very interesting in the movie. In this, I have already heard this, I have come across these incidents, etc., etc. But anyway, these are my few observations with regard to this movie. Once again, I thank Nicola and her team for giving us a chance to watch this movie. Otherwise, I would not have definitely watched this movie. But congratulations to the director and the producer again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vijay. Geeta ma'am, I think you were trying to say something. You can now.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Rishikesh, for opening the discussion, and thanks to the director also for talking about several issues in the film. Actually, I just had two things to say, and they have already been said by the others. What struck me, the two things that struck me about the film was the very centrality of water, and the way it ties up this, water with the ecological crisis on the one hand, and social justice on the other hand. So that I thought was a very interesting part of the film. And secondly, the way in which the issue of caste has been woven into the narrative, and that is through the spatialization of caste. You have the Keri occupied by the underprivileged caste, and then you have the Uru where the elite upper castes live. So, without actually naming the caste, it is the way caste is associated with space, and that brings in this issue of caste segregation and caste discrimination, and the lack of water for a particular caste. So that was something that I found very interesting. And of course, the role of, gender in the narrative. And it's not just women, but it is also the valorization of motherhood, because it is the mother who understands, the uh, about how the children in the Uru are suffering. And then that becomes the trigger for their mobilization, and then they get together and they decide to give water to the people of the Uru. So these were some of the things that I found interesting. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Geeta ma'am. So let's move forward. Anyone else want to ask anything or suggest anything?
May I, Shivali?
Yes, absolutely, Agnishri.
Yeah.
Go on.
I thank the team for making this possible for us, because they generously gave us the link to watch. Thank you so much. One thing that I found very interesting is usually we assume that visuality can bring things very effectively, but then this movie begins with a verbal narrative that sets a context to this movie, and then the concluding lines, taken from the story, directly taken from the story, has brought the force into that climax. Those lines are very forceful, which allow us to pursue things in many ways. That's very interesting. Actually, they though they say that we haven't brought any sticks with us to harm you, actually they lash us. That's very interesting. I wanted to share it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yagnashri. So, others, do you want to say something or ask something? Ananya, Tarkeshwar sir, Rasa, David, Sanjay sir, Renuka, anyone?
Yes, can I come in?
Of course.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much to the author and producer, director, and everyone else for joining. So my question will be just an intention to study, because I'm really not, I have not been a student of film and drama theater myself. So this just took me by interest to know about the non-linear aspect of the movie, which I saw, because the movie, as was pointed out by the previous peer who came right before me, who had come right before me, I'm sorry. So they spoke about the inception of the movie, how the movie begins with a part wherein we see the pair hiding and going to fetch water, which only we later discover they're not going to fetch water, they're going to meet in order to stop a duel from happening and preventing the tanker from coming into town, which only becomes later more visible in the movie. So that acts like a prologue to the movie in some kind of way, to develop the context of what's going to happen. So I'll just like to ask about this non-linear flow of the story and the movie, if this was intentional because of the fluidity of water, because water also doesn't really have a fixed shape. So if that was why that was intended, or anything you may want to add.
I think it's a question to the director again.
You.
Non-linear narrative, ಅಂದ್ರೆ flashback sequences ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, so is that something that you planned for the film history?
Yes, I was about to tell that. Okay, I was just recalling what all she said. Yeah, that was, see, every filmmaker has own style, one thing. So narrative types and narrative styles differ from filmmaker to filmmaker. Okay, and I went according to the story. In the story, in the beginning itself, it is like that. Okay, the story, the original story starts at the dark night, wherein some unrest will be there in the town and in both the areas, and no one knows what's going to happen in the morning. That kind of tension will be there, and these so-called lower caste settlement, the people living there are quite anxious to know. No, unmute your mic, Ananya. You're telling something?
If you want to say something, then you can unmute yourself.
No, you can go answer.
Pardon? Yeah, okay. So I went according to the story, original story. There also, the story starts in the night, and I also did like that. Okay. Then at some point of time, the story deviates even in the context, not only in the narrative style. The story shifts as the two characters in the original story walks through the dark night. Okay, they discuss so many things. Among those things, one of the things they discuss is about the unrest which happened due to the construction of a new bus stand near the temple, which upper caste people are opposing. Those things. That thing I stopped there actually, because my focus was on water, not on the construction of the bus stand adjacent to the temple. So I cut it there, and the film started in the real time. Then I came back. I continued that. Even in our thoughts also, it's like that so many times. We start talking something, suddenly we go in trance, suddenly something else occurs. We stop this and continue talking that thing at length. And we tend to say that, okay, coming back to the point. Generally, we say, no. So I came back to the point. That's all. That was the narration style.
Thank you. Thank
Is
you
it
so
clear?
much, sir, for taking the time to respond.
Thank you so much. Most welcome.
Asif sir.
Yes, sir. Mahadev Swami.
Sir, yeah, sir, thank you for this movie, sir. Really, it's very educating. When I watched this movie, yesterday, really it was really enlightening, and you're focused on real issues that really matter. Sir, I just wanted to know, you have mentioned that Dalits, right? Did you have any particular caste on my mind, on
No,
your
no,
mind, or in general? Like,
in general. Because the problem is not in particular, it is in general.
okay.
Even so many social problems are spread like across the castes, particular castes. It is the thought process in the society actually. The infectious thoughts, the wrong
Okay.
thoughts,
Yes, sir.
which
Yes.
are in the minds of so many different communities.
Yes, sir.
So there
So
was
the
no
reason,
point taking one particular community's name. Yeah,
the reason I asked,
yeah. Please go ahead.
subcaste within scheduled caste, and each caste lived experiences. So I was,
You were not clearly audible. Can you please repeat?
Please repeat.
sir, as you know, in Karnataka, there are 101 subcastes within scheduled caste, we generally call Dalits, and each caste has different lived experiences. There are some castes which have, which follow, there are occupation-based caste and agriculture-based caste. In the movie, actually, apart from, the location and dress code and the lifestyle, I didn't find any anything related to their work, their caste related the work they do. So I was
Yes,
wondering with, yeah, that's
yes,
all.
Mahadev Swami. The thing is, my focus is different in this film.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
not, I didn't make a story about particular caste or something, so that I shot some rituals, particular rituals to depict a particular kind of caste. No, it was not my intention. Because this problem of upper caste is mostly socio-economic conditions I try to uh, bring in, irrespective of any particular caste. The disparity or the exploitation is for so many castes in that category. That's why I didn't commit. I didn't commit any particular ritual. Nowhere I showed any ritual, even for the upper caste also. Okay, they believed in certain blind beliefs. More than upper caste, the caste was not in my mind. In my mind, this wrong belief system was there. I depicted,
Yes.
I tried to depict this, what you call in Kannada, Moodanambike. You know, like Moodanambike means blind beliefs. That I highlighted. It can be there in any upper caste. Even in the lower caste also blind beliefs are there. But I segregated like exploitation or blind beliefs, this. And there is no such, even I didn't address the exploitation also directly. It is, I have shown it as an undercurrent in
Okay,
the
sir.
guise of blind beliefs, belief
Yes.
system. So see, how can we fight against any particular caste or any particular ritual or something like that? We should uproot the roots which are hidden in the society through the belief system. That was my intention.
Okay, sir. Okay.
If at
Thank
all
you.
I had to, I took any caste name, what difference it makes? Nothing. It might get restricted to only that. Then somebody might say, "Oh, you are talking about, you are shown about the caste X, about this problem. Is it not prevailing in caste Y? Then what should I answer? It is there, of course, everywhere, in general."
Okay, sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Most welcome.
Thank you so much, Mahadeva. So let's move forward. Krishnappa, Soumya, Gautam, anyone wants to ask anything or say anything?
Can I ask?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you for a very nice movie, sir. It's so sensitively made. And this movie made me to think of Mahashweta Devi's Jal or Water, a drama that is simultaneously in the poetics and the politics of water. And even at some places, I thought of Mulkraj Anand's untouchable novel in its portrayal of the use of water for social exclusion and subjugation. I have something to say about the ending of the movie. The movie resolves the issue on the humanist ground, invoking sentiments involving a hypothetical situation, which makes both the communities undergo a change of heart. So the end reflects optimism and also to some extent a wishful thinking of the movie makers for a positive change. And just to make a comparison, if we are to make a comparison with recent cast movies like Sairat and Fundry, or even South Indian movies like Asuran and Karnan, the movies do not bring in the resolution of the issue, and they just leave the wounds open. I'm interested to know what was the reason behind choosing this reconciliation over the rupture. Is it a deliberate strategy to instill hope, or an aesthetic decision that prioritizes poetry over politics?
Yeah, neither it is deliberate nor crafted or make believe things like that. Basically, as human beings, we hope, irrespective of anything around, any practical solutions. For that matter, I don't believe in solutions. I believe in possibilities. The word solution itself is absolute thing. That's why for any problem, we have different possibilities. Try this possibility out. If it doesn't work, try that possibility out. I tried this possibility in this film. Okay. How can I leave the wound open? As a person also. There are, of course, that's a narrative style to keep the wound open, as you said, because when a filmmaker thinks, so this problem or this situation has many possibilities, at that time, a filmmaker tend to keep the wound open so that anybody can have their own possibilities or end for that. So I thought this is the basis. This is the basic. See, compassion is the basics of anything. You take any practical problem, any political situations or any whatever you say, words, I'm falling short of words. Basic human being can win so many things by compassion. It's the basic virtue of the human being. Even our nature around, Prakriti, or mother nature, or Shakti, the goddess, whatever the belief system you follow, you can relate these two words, these three words. I believe in Prakriti, the powerful thing. So it is compassionate, it is compatible, it is compassionate, it has empathy. So these are the very powerful tools within. So if we do a certain inward journey, we can catch hold of these things. And I personally believe, not only as a filmmaker, personally believe these three things: empathy, compassion, compatibilities, or whatever connected to these things, synonyms, make definitely difference in the life, in society. May not look, it may not look very practical at this time. Again, this word practical is okay, it's misleading at times. What is practical? Just we use so many words like that. Most of the words, if you go back, sit and list whatever words we were using, so many words we don't mean it properly. Anyway, that's my take. So it's, of course, many people, viewers have different views upon that. They are most welcome. So I thought, I believe in hope. I believe in compassion, basically. And we can win so many things. We can resolve so many things through compassion and a human touch. That I believe. That's why that is reflected in my making. Is it clear, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Wonderful answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Soumya, and thank you, Asif sir. I don't think anyone else is left to ask anything or say anything. If no one has to say anymore, I think we can conclude to this meeting. And before doing that, I would
something to say, surely, Tarakeshwar.
Absolutely, ma'am.
I thought it's too late and people wanted to sleep. So Nikhila forced me to speak. No, it is quite interesting, but I think unfortunately the discussion veered towards comparing the short story and the film, when we should have treated them as two different texts altogether. But of course, it happens, and especially those who are trained in literature, they tend to do that. But I was interested in what Rishikesh Bahadur Desai said. There are two issues. One is about the decentralization of state, the three-tier, which happened in 1980s. And I think the story was also written around 90s. When Panchayat Raj, the three-tier system came into existence, until then, except for voting, the party politics was quite far away. But with decentralization, with this three-tier system, Panchayat Raj, though it was not party-based, the Gram Panchayati and Jilla Parishad elections, but somehow the party-based politics came into the villages, and that altered things considerably. But apart from that, yeah, there is a. In fact, I remember in 1980s there were murders also in the villages because of this election politics. Even I had written a letter to editors about it. And now this election is creating animosity in the villages. But that apart, but there are also, as social scientists who have worked on these issues, they've said how this decentralization has shaken the certain structural inequalities
that existed in the village. So it had two phases. There were negative impact of this decentralization of state, but also there was positive. And that is one thing. And that positive thing can also be seen here. There's a new point of negotiation now. So there is a hope that he could become the member, and then he will have a more bargaining power with the Uru people. So somehow it it creates animosity in the village, yes, but it also gives them a kind of leverage power in the negotiation. That also, I think, could be seen in the movie. That was one point. And the other point was about there was a somehow we are trying to demand uh, this to be a documentary, but it cannot be a documentary. When we are making a movie, we take up a particular genre and a particular mode of representation. So here, the mode of representation sometimes border on melodrama, and sometimes it moves towards a kind of theatrical effect, the dramatic effect. So in that sense, the genre plays a major role, and how that choice of the uh, mode of representation alters the uh, content and the theme of the story is something that is worth investigating. So in that sense, uh, the addition of songs and the grand visuals, uh, especially photographic effect, uh, and the audio was also, I think, more uh, more of a proscenium theater. So in that sense, it was quite interesting to look at the choice of the genre and how it impinges on the theme of the play. Uh, but the discussion was quite interesting. Thank you, Rishikesh, and thanks to the director and others who are present here. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Targeshwar sir. Is there anyone else left to speak? Anyone else want to say something or ask something? Okay, if not, I think now it's time to conclude. So before
I think
doing that,
Rishikesh should wind up the discussion.
yes, yes. So I am just going to say that I request Rishikesh sir to just say something as conclusion before we wind the meeting.
Yeah, first thing, thank you very much to have invited me here to come and speak about this. Secondly, thank you for everybody who made their points, and every point was very distinct and very interesting. And thanks to the director for patiently answering all the queries and not taking them as points of criticism. It's very large-hearted of him. And thank you for having started this initiative 5 years ago and taken it till now, and I'm sure you will further carry it very nicely. I just want to say, I definitely agree with Tarkeshwar Saab when he says that we should have treated the two as different things. But somehow it struck me that this is not a work of fiction. We are trying to document history in this movie and in the story. And this is just a response of a writer and a film director to whatever is happening around them. That is one. Secondly, if we get, at least as far as I am concerned, if we get stuck on the technical details of filmmaking, like use of technology or sound and music and whatever, of course, they are very important. But if we do that, we tend to lose track of the content, which is the soul of the story. So anyway, I don't understand much of technology. And definitely, as I confessed in the earlier my talk, that I'm a student of literature and I'm likely prejudiced toward the story. But then it's very nice to see that all the points that the filmmaker has seen, and he has suitably changed. For example, the temple issue, it was dropped by him. Of course, it was not a diversion. It was also an angle, a dimension to the caste discrimination in the village. And also, it is very reflective of what is happening today. The story was written in 1992. But if you think it was written yesterday, in 2025 also, it holds good, because there are some vested interests which are trying to divert our attention away from issues of caste discrimination and trying to convert them into communal issues. So a temple would have played the role of such a tool. Anyway, because he wants to keep it lean and very straightforward, and as he said, he does not want to preach, he just wants to find humane solutions to the problems that are around us. It's a great attempt by him. And of course, we are eternally grateful to Professor Amaresh Nugadoni for coming up with this story and writing it in. It's difficult to read for a non-native speaker, because it is very much like Devanur Mahadeva using his Mysore and Chamarajanagar accent. He has used the Hyderabad Karnataka accent, but once you pass the first page, it is easier. You understand what is a dialogue and what is stream of consciousness, what is thought, and what is the explanation of the background. So we are thankful to all of them, and the man who put his money into the film, believing that he's doing a great job by giving a message to the society. If not for such people, making such films remains only a dream for people like Kshatriya. So thank you very much, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, sir. So my take home is certain good points from most of you people. Okay, and I will take a note. I'll remember those things. And thank you very much for seeing the film and calling me here for the participation. I remember this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks to Rishikesh sir and thanks to Asif sir, and along with Nidasale sir and Amaresh sir. And thanks to every member who joined our meeting. Thank you so much. And let's hope that we'll be meeting again the coming week. So thanks a lot. Let's wind it up for now.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Rishikesh sir.
Thank you all very much.
Kshatriya sir.